What's up everyone, this is mhags art and today I'll be setting up February 2022 in my bullet journal. My theme this month is the Studio Ghibli film My Neighbor Totoro. So if you're a fan of movies and TV shows, then be sure to subscribe because I base all my monthly themes off of movies and TV shows. So funny enough, even though it's been really cold lately where I live and we just had a huge snowstorm, my theme this month is not very wintry at all. I think I subconsciously picked something more summery and bright and cheerful because, to be honest, I was feeling incredibly burnt out this month, and because of that, I wasn't feeling very motivated or inspired to start my February setup. So one day I thought to myself, I should paint something to kind of help myself relax. So I looked at my collection of reference photos, and this very iconic cloud landscape from My Neighbor Totoro stood out to me. It was on the simpler side compared to some of the other Studio Ghibli references I have, and it had been quite a few months since I painted with gouache, so I wanted to ease myself back into it. So if you've watched any of my previous monthly plan with me's before, this one is starting off a bit different than usual because I will be showing the process of how I painted the scene for my cover page. I used my Himi Jelly Gouache set, which hadn't been used in so long that all the paint was super dry and crusted. I had to spray them with water and let them soak for like half an hour. That's how dry they were. I definitely want to use them more frequently so they don't get this dry in between uses. I won't be talking about my process of painting as much in this video, but if you're curious about how I approach painting landscapes with gouache, I have done a video in the past where I review the Himi Jelly Gouache set and also give a bit of a tutorial on how to paint Studio Ghibli landscapes with gouache. So I will link that video up in the cards and in the description if you would like to check it out. I'm so happy I took the time to sit down and do this painting. It felt so good to paint again and definitely helped me with my stress. As I mentioned earlier, I've been feeling very burnt out lately. I honestly didn't even realize that it was burnout I was experiencing until a few days ago. I thought I was just feeling very unmotivated and uninspired for some reason with my February setup. But then when I thought about how I've done, 4 YouTube videos in the past 2 months and kept up with my other social media on top of work and school and all my other life stuff, I realized I had a lot going on that was making me feel overwhelmed. And honestly, now that I got this video done, I'm feeling a lot better and I'm excited to hopefully have a new sense of energy with my art and creating going forward. Because of feeling burnout, I made this month's setup relatively simple besides this painting, of course. So you'll see soon, once I'm done finished painting, what the setup is gonna look like. I did very minimal doodles and made the setups themselves pretty easy to lessen my feelings of stress. At first I wasn't really feeling these spreads and I wasn't happy with how they were turning out, but by the time I got to the weeklies, I was starting to like it more. And now I actually really like how everything turned out as a whole. So this was all a good reminder for me that I can do simple setups and kind of go easy on myself. And if I just push through all the negative feelings of doubt and no motivation and stress, that it will all work out in the end, It's gonna sound so corny, but I just have to believe in myself more and be kinder to myself, which are 2 things I'm always trying to work on. And I apologize for rambling so long about how I've been feeling, but honestly, it makes me feel a lot better when I hear other artists talk about how they experience these feelings sometimes. So I wanted to talk about all of this in case you're someone who needs to hear it right now. It's okay if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Just believe in yourself and be kind to yourself, and you can do it. I'd say probably the hardest part of this painting was the sunflowers. I don't know why the sunflowers. I've actually painted this painting once before in a different video that I can link up in the cards right now, where I painted 3 Studio Ghibli scenes. This was more of just like a lighthearted, fun video I did where I painted one scene in 1 hour, the next scene in 30 minutes, and then the next scene in 10 minutes. So this cloud landscape is the one I did in 10 minutes. So you can imagine it didn't turn out great because, of course, 10 minutes is a very short period of time. And even then, I remember like struggling with making these sunflowers look realistic, and I struggled with that again here. I don't know why, just like when I look at the sunflowers, I'm like, why does this look like a 5-year-old painted them? So I really tried hard to add a lot of like shading and color variation to have it look a little more realistic. So now we're on my actual bullet journal setup now that the painting is complete. And for my quote this month, I chose a quote from Hayao Miyazaki, who is one of the co-founders of Studio Ghibli and of course responsible for a lot of the wonderful stories and movies that we love from Studio Ghibli. So the quote that I chose is, "Yet even amidst the hatred and carnage, life is still worth living. It's possible for wonderful encounters and beautiful things to exist." And I just thought that was such a nice, positive quote, especially for how I've been feeling lately, that hopefully would give me a little hope that even among the times that are challenging, that, life of course is still worth living and things are going to turn around, and there's always positive things to find within the challenging times too. So just gotta look out for those moments, or at least keep in mind that the hard times will pass eventually, So here I'm setting up my first 2 spreads of the month, which is my important dates. I just made it super, super simple, which you'll hear me say a lot, as I already mentioned. Just made it super simple this month for myself. And then also my habit trackers, which I struggled a little bit to make them look even with my ruler technique. I don't know why this time I just struggled a lot more with having them all symmetrical. But again, part of my going easier on myself, and I know I've talked about this in past videos, is also letting go of that perfectionism too. So it still gets the job done. And then of course I added some doodles from the movie, and I have the little mini Totoro, I don't know what his name is actually, and then some suit sprites that I will be using throughout this month's setup. Next I have a mood tracker, and I got the idea because since My Neighbor Totoro is focused a lot on nature, that how cute would it be to draw a different flower for all of my different moods. So that's what I have here. Then I tried to draw cat bus freehand because again I wanted to kind of lessen the stress for myself this month and not feel like I had to sketch everything out perfectly, but I drew him way too big, so I cut out a new piece of paper here and redid the little doodle, and I think it turned out much cuter on the second try. Then on the other side, I have my sleep tracker that I like to do each month. Again, very simple, just the dates 1 through 28 and then the hours at the bottom. And then I did some more suit sprite doodles in the bottom left corner. If you're ever looking for a super simple and easy Studio Ghibli related theme, I highly recommend doing the suit sprites. They're very easy. They're just little circles with some lines around them and little eyeballs, so they're very cute. Then this is my weekly spreads where I'm doing some more suit sprites, as you can see, and these are going to be just the decoration on the side over there because I did a Dutch door. Y'all know me, I'm addicted to them Dutch doors. And I thought this was cute. I just made them like holding hands and kind of trailing down the side here. I added some stars along the side just to make it a little more interesting. And I went back and did the same for the other pages because I felt like they were just missing a little something. So I put some star doodles throughout, which I think really added something extra, helped kind of pull all the spreads together and keep it simple but not keep it boring. We'll go with that. Next up, I am just doing the weekly spreads where I'm doing 1 week per page. It's going to be a little tight, but honestly, usually during the weekdays, I don't have as many tasks and stuff because I'm so busy with work and school that most of my day is taken up with that, whereas I usually have Friday off, and then I also have obviously Saturday and Sunday off, and that's where I get like a lot of my tasks done, so that's where I like to have more space. So I kind of did this new setup that I'm trying out where I have these very small sections for Monday through Thursday, and then the bottom 3 columns are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so they have a little more space to do some planning. My next spread is my gratitude tracker. So this is something else that I've been liking to include in my past few monthly setups, and I did this last month where I did kind of like a mini landscape doodle for my up theme, which I will link in the cards above right now, and I really loved how it turned out, and I kind of wanted to do something similar for this month. So I did the iconic, legendary bus stop scene where Totoro has the little leaf on his head, and I tried to do the trees up ahead. That is the space where I'll write down whatever I'm grateful for. Hopefully they don't look like clouds. I didn't want to color the entire thing in because I thought it would be too busy. I wanted the focus to be on the characters, so I did these very, basic outlines of the trees, and hopefully it communicates what it's supposed to be. And then I did this kind of grayish blue color for the raindrops. Again, I didn't want to do the raindrops all over because I didn't want to be too busy up above where I'm going to be writing anyway. And I also kind of thought, well, the trees are blocking the rain from up above, and that's why you only see it down below. So that's kind of my rationale there. I don't know if it's accurate, but that's what I'm going with. Last but not least is my monthly review that I love to do every month. And I just usually ask myself a few questions and leave some space to obviously write down my answers to them. And it's pretty self-explanatory. Thank you so much for watching my February 2022 plan with me. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I know this was a longer video than I normally make because, I had that whole painting process that took a little bit longer. So I appreciate you if you've made it this far. And so like I said in the beginning, I wasn't really feeling this setup, and now that I'm done, I think it's super cute. I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. And especially this gratitude page, it's probably one of my favorites besides the cover page. But it's just a great reminder for me that I can keep it simple, and I might do more setups like this in the future. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and take care till next time.